Good morning and welcome to another episode of Auto Intelligence, your tri-weekly deep dive into the automotive industry's biggest stories. I'm Steve, along with Claire, and we're part of the Auto Agentic team. Auto Intelligence drops every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, making us the perfect companion to your morning brew.
That's right, Steve. This Saturday's topic is one that's been keeping industry executives up at night. We're examining the massive reinvention happening in automotive supply chains. The global automotive supply chain is still reeling from pandemic-era disruptions and facing what S&P Global terms the era of perpetual disruption.
This $4.3 trillion industry is undergoing radical transformation. From semiconductor shortages persisting into their sixth year to geopolitical tensions reshaping trade routes and EV adoption hitting speed bumps, automakers are deploying some fascinating strategies to survive.
Let's break down what we're calling the crisis matrix. First up, the semiconductor squeeze has now entered year 6. Despite a 17% increase in chip production capacity since 2023, automakers still face 12 to 18-week lead times for critical components.
That's down from the peak of 40 weeks back in 2022, but still far above pre-pandemic norms. According to Jennifer Coleman, Ford's global procurement executive, we've moved from crisis management to permanent scarcity planning. The industry has finally accepted that just-in-time is dead for high-risk components like microcontrollers.
Premium brands have been hit hardest due to their complex electronics. Mercedes-Benz continues to prioritize high-margin models like the EQS sedan, which uses nearly 2,200 chips per vehicle, while delaying refreshes of entry-level lines.
Industry-wide, the semiconductor crisis has erased over $210 billion in revenue since its inception. It's forcing fundamental rethinks of sourcing strategies and inventory models.
Thomas Zhao from S&P Global Mobility notes, "We're seeing a structural deficit in mature node fabrication capacity. While advanced nodes for AI and mobile computing receive enormous investment, the 40 nm and above chips critical for automotive systems remain underserved."
There are clear winners and losers emerging from this crisis. Chinese automakers like BYD have leveraged their proximity to domestic chip suppliers to gain market share, increasing their global EV exports by 58% in 2024 alone.
Meanwhile, Toyota reduced its 2025 production target by 100,000 vehicles due to insufficient semiconductor supplies, and we're seeing similar cuts at Stellantis and Ford. According to J.D. Power's eVision Intelligence report, 51% of potential EV buyers cite charging availability as their primary concern, while the Consumer Reports EV charging study found a troubling 20% failure rate at public charging stations.
Right, and J.D. Power expects EV retail share to stagnate at 9.1% in 2025, which is far below earlier industry projections of 15 to 20%.
The semiconductor shortage has particularly impacted EV production schedules. Tesla postponed its Cybertruck expansion to 2026 after failing to secure adequate silicon carbide MOSFETs for its powertrains.
Similarly, GM's Ultium platform rollout faced 3 separate delays due to battery management system chip shortages. What's interesting is that EVs require twice as many semiconductors as traditional vehicles.
The affordability gap remains a critical barrier, according to Melissa Rodriguez, chief economist at Auto Intelligence. Despite federal incentives, the average EV still costs $12,500 more than an equivalent ICE model.
This cost differential has allowed Chinese manufacturers like BYD and NIO to gain market advantage, leveraging their vertically integrated supply chains to undercut Western rivals by 20 to 30%.
Let's talk about the third element of this crisis matrix, what we're calling the geopolitical chess match. China's dominance in EV exports, they hold 58% global market share, collides with Western protectionism.
The EU's 2024 battery passport regulations and U.S. Inflation Reduction Act sourcing requirements have forced $42 billion in factory relocations.
BYD's new Hungarian plant and Tesla's Monterrey megafactory exemplify this nearshoring rush. Dr. Wei Zhang, supply chain director at the Global Automotive Alliance, states, "The automotive chessboard has been completely reset."
In 2025, 85% of automotive executives are increasing their reliance on North American suppliers, with 41% actively reshoring operations that were previously offshore.
This regionalization trend accelerated after disruptions in the Red Sea shipping lanes added 12 to 18 days to Asia-Europe transit times and doubled trans-Pacific freight rates compared to 2019 levels.
Companies are implementing tariff absorption clusters that combine regional suppliers to minimize cross-border flows, with blockchain-based rules of origin tracking cutting certification costs by 37%.
The US-China tariff war has intensified these shifts. With 30% tariffs on Chinese EVs, manufacturers have been forced to develop modular platform designs enabling 58% localized content in target markets.
Carlos Rodriguez, supply chain strategist at Deloitte, emphasizes that geopolitical considerations now outweigh pure cost efficiency. The lowest cost supplier model has been replaced by the lowest risk model, even if it means paying a premium.
You're listening to Auto Intelligence, sponsored by Auto Agentic, the intelligent solution helping dealerships boost efficiency and customer satisfaction. Now back to our discussion about supply chain reinvention.
Now let's talk about what we're calling the reinvention playbook. Leading automakers are managing supply chains through AI-powered digital twins that simulate disruptions in real time.
BMW's system reduced lead time variability by 37% in 2024, while GM's Resilience Cloud platform slashed supplier risk exposure by mapping 11-tier deep supplier networks.
Dr. Sarah Kaplan, Chief Technology Officer at Siemens Digital Industries, says, digital twins represent the single most important advancement in supply chain risk management. What began as basic virtual models has evolved into sophisticated neural networks capable of predicting disruptions before they occur.
The market for automotive digital twins is projected to reach $2.1 trillion by 2034, with North America leading adoption thanks to federal incentives for smart manufacturing.
These systems are increasingly sophisticated. Volkswagen's implementation of Siemens MindSphere platform reduced supply chain emissions by 18% through digital twin-enabled route optimization. Another major shift we're seeing is a move from just-in-time to what's being called JIC+, or just-in-case plus. The industry's sacred just-in-time model is evolving into this new approach, combining strategic stockpiles with predictive analytics.
Toyota now maintains 45-day buffers for 127 critical components, while Volkswagen's smart inventory system uses machine learning to anticipate regional demand spikes with 89% accuracy.
Dr. Elena Rodriguez, supply chain professor at MIT, puts it this way. The dichotomy between JT and JIC has given way to context-driven hybrid models. Critical components with high disruption risk are managed under JIC principles, while commoditized parts remain in JIT flows.
After losing 500,000 vehicle units to supply disruptions in 2023, Stellantis adopted this hybrid model. High-risk components like semiconductors are stockpiled for 8 to 12 weeks, while common parts remain on JIT schedules.
This approach reduced production downtime by 74% in 2024. The mathematics of inventory has fundamentally changed, according to Dr. Jamie Carrillo, operations research scientist at Tesla.
The third major development is what we're calling the collaboration imperative. Europe's Catena X data ecosystem now links 18,000 suppliers across 44 countries, enabling real-time capacity sharing, carbon footprint tracking, and conflict mineral tracing.
Dr. Lucas Schmidt, Bosch supply chain lead, observes, Catena X isn't just a platform, it's becoming the industry's central nervous system. The collaborative approach has transformed competitors into co-creators of supply chain resilience.
Founded in 2021 as a German government-funded consortium response to supply chain fragmentation, Catena X has matured into the automotive sector's first open-source data ecosystem.
By 2025, it's governed by the Catena X Automotive Network Association, which ensures industry-wide representation across OEMs, Tier 1 to 3 suppliers, and technology partners.
The initiative aligns with the European Gaia X framework, emphasizing user-controlled data sharing without centralized storage, thereby addressing long-standing concerns about vendor lock-in and data monopolies.
Let's look at some key numbers for 2025. Global light vehicle sales are projected to reach 91.4 million units, up from 88.6 million in 2024.
EV battery logistics costs are expected to drop from $42 per kilowatt-hour to $38. The percentage of nearshored components is projected to rise from 18% to 27%.
Supply chain AI adoption rate is expected to jump from 39% to 54%. Climate risk mitigation investment is projected to increase from $31 billion to $47 billion.
Semiconductor lead times are expected to improve from 21 weeks to 15 weeks, and we're seeing blockchain-verified supply share rise from 12% to 35%, while digital twin implementation jumps from 29% to 67%.
As the industry braces for 2026 automated driving rollout, supply chains face their ultimate stress test, with 78% of automakers now requiring suppliers to maintain dual-continent production. The new mantra is clear: redundancy is reliability.
Those mastering the balance between localized agility and global scale may yet turn perpetual disruption into sustained advantage. As one CEO succinctly put it, in 2025, we don't just manufacture vehicles, we manufacture resilience.
That wraps up today's deep dive into automotive supply chain reinvention. Thanks for tuning in to Auto Intelligence. We're part of Automotive, a pioneering AI-driven platform transforming the automotive retail industry with intelligent solutions for dealership operations.
You can learn more at autoagentic.ai. Auto Intelligence drops every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday with sharp takes on the auto industry's most relevant topics.
We'll be back next Tuesday with another insightful episode. Until then, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Auto Intelligence wherever you get your podcasts.